So this next lab, vector addition, asks us to build some vector diagrams and do the calculations for the components. This can be done really easily in Excel, but it requires a little bit of knowledge of how to set up the values. Unlike the previous example that I gave you, where you did an equation of the line, you had your r squared value and things of this nature. This won't work for vector addition. We have to make the software do something a little different for us. So let's see how we can build our array by inputting our data and doing the calculations on it, and then later we'll build the chart area, the vector diagram. So let's start with putting together our data field. Okay, so we need a column for the vector labels, which I've put here. Something a little different, we need to put the origin in there because all of our vectors start from the origin on that force table. Then we need its magnitude and direction. So the next two columns, magnitude in grams, which will relate to your force in newtons minus the gravity. And then the angle in degrees. We need to convert those to radians. Nice thing about this is Excel does it for us, and you'll see how easy that is. Once we have those, then we'll start calculating our x and y components, and this is how we actually plot our diagram. So in this first video, let's just set up the values and the calculations so that we can get ready to do our vector diagram. So what we need to do is come over to the x component and highlight the first cell. We type an equal sign. We enter the data for 200, which is in D6. We're going to multiply that times the cosine, right? Because we're in the x direction. Click on cosine. And now we're going to let Excel do our radians conversion. When you type RAD, it knows what you want. It suggests radians. Tell it yes. So the last thing it wants is the angle. So now we come back over under the direction in degrees. We click on 0. It enters the cell for 0. Hit enter. And we have our first x component. Now the nice thing with Excel is I don't have to retype that every time. I can copy and paste. Control C or Command C will do it. So I do a copy, move down, Control V or Command V will do it. Paste, paste. Now I've entered both of my values for the x components. So the next thing is we need to calculate the y components. Type equal, again, click on 200, multiply, hit the asterisk key. This time it's a sine value. Click on sine. Again, we're going to do the conversion. Radians, click on radians, and again click on 0. Hit enter. Now we're going to copy and paste, Command C or Control C, copy, Control V or Command V, paste, paste. Now we have all of our values entered for these components. While we're here, why don't we go ahead and sum our x components and y components that we're going to need for the resultant. So I've clicked in the field for the resultant. I'm going to do an auto sum, which you see up here on the right. I'm going to click on that. It asks, are these the cells you want? No, as a matter of fact, they're not. I only want B and C. So it automatically sums them when I hit the enter key, and I'm going to do the same thing in the y component. Auto sum for B and C, because remember A is the equilibrium. We don't need that in our calculation. We're just calculating the sum of B and C. So once I have it highlighted, I hit enter, and now I have both of my terms that I'm going to need for my resultant. Now I'm ready to start graphing. Okay, so I'm going to get it set up here, and then I'm going to end this and we'll go to the next one. So if you select these first fields over here under x and y components, 0 to 200 and 0 to 0, that gives us our two endpoints. I'm going to hit insert. I'm going to come back over here to scatter, This time I want scatter with straight lines, and when I do, I get my setup for the chart title. But this chart is not set up correctly, and it's got a bunch of superfluous information. So on the next video, we're going to see how we clean up this vector diagram, this chart area, so that it gives us what we want. Okay, so we'll end right here and pick up on the next video.